Okay, so this is take number 3 because this hasn't been working. But this is for making a background image and also making the YouTube image. This is how you do it. First of all, you have to go to the internet, and you have to find an image that works. You want something that's huge. Because it always works better if you take it from bigger to smaller than smaller to bigger. And so the title of tonight's message is that's not PC. Yeah, that's not PC. Galatians 1:10. That's the title of the sermon. So I want to use an image with the political parties because I think that'd be funny. And so that's what I'm doing. So I went on Google. I searched for political parties. Actually, I searched for Republicans and Democrats. I did. It took me quite a bit of time to find one that worked. And I've come up with this one. And then, so now I open it in GIMP. Let me switch over to GIMP. Now it's open in GIMP. And so the first thing I need to do is I need to make it the right size. And the right size is 2400 wide. So 2400 wide. There we go. That's going to shrink that down. Then we go over to Dropbox. We go to sermon stuff, and we go to images, and we open up the background template. I don't think you can see this actually happening, but it will open. There we go. Let's make sure that that's working on the recording. It's not. Hold on. About now. All right, well, I'm going to copy this. Control C, and then I'm going to close this one out. Let me see here. It's not working. Hello? There we go. Okay, so now I've got it on there. Oh, I got to mess with it just a little bit. Here. So I paste it on here, then I got to adjust it. Adjusting it's a big pain in the neck. I should have made it a little, maybe a little bigger. So I didn't have to, there we go. All right, so that's the perfect size. Then and the only thing that you need to worry about is kind of how it looks, and also so these are your two lines. So these are your splits in your screen, and so I just try not to put any lettering right on the splits of the screen. And then your other one is this one right here. So this line right here, this is your time countdown timer. So if it was a Sunday, I would make that black, and so the countdown timer would show up. But it's a Wednesday, there's no countdown timer, so I don't even have to worry about that. So my sermon title, that's not PC. So I'm going to start up here. I'm going to put that's. I'm going to make it white. And Matt only likes certain fonts. Calibri, Garamond. This one doesn't have Garamond. Garamond or Franklin Gothic Medium. Anyway, I'm using Calibri because that's the one I like. And then I make it huge. And then so I go around the pictures, right? Make it look nice. Kind of put it maybe over a bit. That's not Calibri, and that was what, 210. So then I make that 210. I make it white. Ka-ching. And then over here, so I can center it, right? Oops, that's not center. There it is, center. Maybe bring it up a little bit. And actually, I want to scoot it a little bit this way. Maybe I don't. And then quote, PC quote. Get out of my way. Make it a white. Make it a white. This to me looks like it needs to go over a little bit. $210. And then I need to get my verse in there, which is Galatians. So usually I make the verse a little smaller. Maybe put it on the left-hand side because the drums are on the right. Oh, wait a minute. GALATIANS 110. Calibri. White. Boom. Galatians. And then I forgot, we got to put Pastor Crystal Crachinis in there. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so we'll take that out. We'll put that over there. And we'll put Pastor Crystal on the right-hand side. Calibri. White. What's this one? 88. So So that's not going to fit, so we got to make it smaller. One. All right, then I go back through and I hit it with shadow. So that makes the words stand out. So I got a filter, light and shadow, drop shadow, and then I do 2, 2, don't allows it to resize, and I leave the opacity at 60, and I leave black. So that gave us one. I usually do a couple. So as you can see, as we zoom in a little bit, and then once you do it, then you can do repeat. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. And then what I like to do, because there's a lot of lines and stuff in the way, so I like to, before I sign off on this thing, I like to, let's save it. Let's call it test 1. We export it. Boom. Let's take a look at the desktop here. Open. I mean, it looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. So that should be good. And that's all there is to making the background. And then you know the rest. You just so then we go back in here and we just export this guy, and then well, if you go to recently used, you can go to, there it is, images. Then you just save it as this guy, background 1. And since it's a Wednesday and it's not Steve Dalton preaching, because Steve has verses on Wednesdays, then we don't need verses, because most of the Wednesday pastors don't do verses. So so we only need one background, and that's all we need. So the second thing we need to do is the YouTube. So we go to sermon stuff, we go to images, and then there's one called YouTube graphics. YouTube graphic. Open that guy up. Boom. Then we go back to our original image. Where's our original image? Okay, we go back. So we open desktop. Go back to our original PC image, right? So this one needs to be a little fatter instead of longer. So what I usually do is I just crop it. So I go something like this, right? That didn't really help me much, but that's fine. We'll work with it. So you want this to be 450 wide. That's really the only number that matters. You Control A, Control C that, copy. And then you go over here. You select the background, so that way it'll center it, and you hit paste. And then you want to kind of move this guy a little bit. Move it down a little bit, maybe a little. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Now, oh, did I move it? Maybe to the. There we go. There we go. Then I want to change the name. I always. What's going on here? Oh, I make that a new layer, and then I drag it in between there. Then I go here. That's not PC. Galatians 1:10. So, and I want that kind of all to stay together. So I'm going to make it like so. And maybe bump this down just a skosh. There we go. Now, I want this to kind of be more in the background. So I'm going to take the opacity. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. I like the red because we're going with the red-blue, right? And so, oops. Before we do the opacity, first I want to go over here and grab my color thing, and I want to get one of these blues. So then I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit the opacity. Then I'm going to take my paint thing. I'm going to put it on the background, and I leave one color on the inside and one color for the outside. And since we're doing red and blue, I'll leave the inside red, and I'll do the background blue. And then same thing. I hit this with then a shadow. And since I already did it before, all I got to do is hit it again. Hit it a couple of 2-3 times. Seeing that to me, maybe even a little more. We got to fade that in a little more. Maybe I need my blue needs to be a little darker. Just kind of looking at it. And you can just, like, it doesn't really matter. And there you go. And then you export that guy. And so we go to sermon images, sermon stuff. Oh no, we're in images. And I always name it whatever the thing is. So I name it PC. And away we go. Ka-chink. And that's all there is to it, man. That's the background and the YouTube image. So hopefully this gave you enough to work with.